How are you guys doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Not too bad.
The 2 Count, where comedy meets wrestling. Please comment, share, and like, and if you're watching the live stream, join us with your comments and questions. And now here are the hosts of the 2 Count, comedian John Russell, and wrestling broadcaster Big Ace.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Here we have our guest right here with us this evening. Hey, Down Town Petey Brown, how are you, my friend?
What is up, John? How you been?
Awesome. We're very happy to have you on with us, folks. Of course, there's Big Ace.
What's up? Petey, what is up, man?
Good to see you, Big Ace.
Yeah, man. So it's really funny. So first of all, I'm going to apologize because if anybody's watching, they have no idea what just happened in the last half hour. And it was crazy. So first, I got stuck at work late, so I was like super late. JR had no internet till about 10 minutes ago, and I didn't even see that you had messaged about possibly doing this another time. So that is
it's a pro wrestling industry. You know, you get all these like wrenches, these monkey wrenches, and you just make it work.
Just go. It's live. Go. You know,
we're live, pal.
Right. So so first of all, huge thank you because I literally just now saw that message. So huge thank you for you, Petey, to come on and still join us tonight, even though it may have not worked out, or I don't know, but either way, huge.
I'm actually downtown right now. I'm downtown Minneapolis right now, so I guess I'm in gimmick.
Oh,
it works.
Perfect.
Live that gimmick, baby.
Right over.
Oh, I love it. Oh, there it is.
Social distancing. There's not a lot of people here, so
perfect. So, you know, it was funny before you hopped on. Chris, what's up, my brother? Thanks for joining us. JR was asking me, and I call him JR, so if anybody gets confused, I know we've had people call out, like, that's not Jim Ross. Like,
but I'm close.
All right.
Close enough.
Better hair.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And I can open both my eyes. Pretty much.
I was going to say too soon, but I mean, it's like 20 years almost. So I mean, come on. You probably make jokes about it, so.
You would think at this point. Actually, so JR asked how we met, and he's like, how do you know him? And I'm like, honestly, I met Petey at a show in Rochester, and then after talking, you discovered, like, wait a minute, we were at the Hall of Fame weekend in Waterloo at the same time as well, like the year before. So, which is so crazy because we would have just been coming home from that Hall of Fame weekend. The people who go to that every year, like myself, would have been just coming home from that weekend. It was very sad to see that got canceled. But so it was kind of funny to be like, oh, because me and you were talking about, like, wait, you were in Waterloo? I was, yeah. Oh man, shoot, I remember watching you now. This is so crazy. So that's how we met. So it's again, I'm psyched that we've been able to get this together. I haven't forgot about talking to you when you were in Rochester at that show, which, by the way, I got to ask, and I don't know if you even remember that show. I think it was at our Legion or something here, but it was a weird room. Like the room super close to the ring at angles. So what, like, first of all, I just want to ask Petey, because you're wrestling all over, you're doing the indie circuit, you're doing some cool things. Like, what is it like when you walk into these venues you've never been to, and then you see something like that where you're like, wow, if I get on the top rope, I can hang off the rafters?
Yeah, I mean, you think about a bunch of ideas. I'm not a big high flyer, but I can fall. So it's like I can look at things and what I can fall off of. The big spot for that, because it was weird. It was like straight ceiling, down right angle. And you're like, who designed this? And it was kind of dumb, but it actually worked out for my benefit because I thought of a spot right away. I was wrestling a guy who was 6'5", 6'6". He's a former like D1 basketball player. I was like, that dude could like suplex me, hit me up against the wall, turn around, and then finish the suplex. So you just got to get creative with it. I've had really low ceilings where it's like, hey, well, let's take bets on who's going to knock out the ceiling tiles, and usually someone always does. So. Oh,
that's so great. That was a fun show, man. In Rochester, we don't get a lot of shows. So I think that was MAW that you guys came down with.
That was AWF.
AWF, I'm sorry.
That's the one that I helped run. Yeah, that was a good show. We had Joe Alonzo, who's now been on AW a lot.
Yeah,
in our main events.
Man, wait, he was at that show? I didn't.
Yep, he was in the main event.
Oh my gosh! I mean, it was so. What's up, cousin? That's my cousin Juan right there. Thank you, brother. Miss you. We're gonna hang out soon. You know what I remember from that show though is, again, Rochester doesn't get a lot of shows. When we do, it's like a house show, so an independent show doesn't come here often. And to see, like, I was there with some buddies who all brought their sons, and like these kids have never been exposed to live wrestling. So I'm sitting there talking to my friends, and JR, you know how I am. I'm like, yeah, these kids are gonna love it. Like, you're gonna have wrestling fans now. Like, get ready to watch this every week. And all of them are like, they better not. But by the end, the kids were having a blast. The dads were having a blast. And it was a really well put together show.
Thank you.
Considering that we don't get that here. And again, it's hard to pull a crowd in this town. JR, you know that. Me and you have done radio for many years in this town back in the day. Any big event in this town's hard to make it work. You guys did that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely pushing. That was one of the venues, one of the big venues we run up here in Minneapolis. So all things considered, just going forward, I actually book for AWF. I write all the storylines, do all the marketing, book talent. So Richfield was our big monthly venue, and that shut down just because there was money laundering and a bunch of other sad things. It was a great venue and great people who worked there. So one of the things I was pitching to Tony DiNucci, who runs AWF, is that Rochester, there needs to be someone running in Rochester, just because it's such a big city. Just it just happens to be in the middle of nowhere, kind of.
Right. Yeah.
But it'd be huge. Yeah.
Oh, and it was great. And you guys had, from what I could tell, it was a great crowd. Like, there was a lot of people there that night, and I didn't expect that going in. I was like, I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you the last time independent wrestling was here. So I think the last thing that was somewhat independent before that was the Micro Wrestling Federation. I don't know if you heard.
Oh, yeah.
They were here like the year before that, which again was great. But I mean,
it's entertaining for sure.
That's just it. It's entertaining. It's a fun little gimmick thing to watch the midgets wrestling. But I'm a fan. I want to watch you guys go. And what's fun too is I came in not knowing a lot of anybody on that card. So to walk out and be completely entertained was awesome. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I really like the Southern Minnesota shows because they don't get wrestling a lot, and so they appreciate it more. And it's a lot easier to get Iowa people up. There's a lot of great talent in Iowa, a lot of great talent in Illinois, obviously. So for that card, we had an Illinois card. So it's great to have them up. Brand new talent for our talent to face, and just mix it up, make it new, make it fun.
So JR, you're from Iowa.
Yes.
You know the area.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm good friends with IPW. Troy Peterson,
great promotion,
and the crew over there, James Jeffries and
nicest dude you ever meet.
Oh my gosh, the nicest guy. James Jeffries is actually coming on the show in a few weeks, so love that guy. We've had Maddie Starr on. We're trying to get Malice to come through.
Maddie's awesome too.
All these guys are great guys, so I would love to see you put that Iowa show together in Rochester.
That'd be great. I've tried to get James and Maddie up, and it just has never sunk up. But I love both guys. Both guys are great veterans in the ring, very selfless and just very kind people. I couldn't believe that I think it was last year. Maddie actually wrestled Ultimo Dragon.
Oh man,
who would have ever guessed? But he hung with it. He did well.
It was so great. Were you there? Was that the year you were there?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So that was awesome. That was such a huge thing for him. We talked about it on the show when he was here, and just how cool of a deal it was. Now, when you were down there, did you do the tryout, the evaluation?
Yeah, I did the tryout. I wrestled the System. He's another Minnesota wrestler. And then we ended up tagging against West Briscoe, Eugene, and then I think it was another. I can't remember the other tag teams. We were in a big tag team turmoil match.
Yeah. So the funny other thing too, that was another connection for us, because when you were I was in that match, I was like, oh, yeah, I was down there by the ring because I do a show with Briscoe, so he makes me take pictures and video his stuff when I'm there.
Nice. Wes is awesome, and when I saw him, he looked like $1 million. He looked like Randy Orton, good shape.
Dude, that guy is nuts. I tell JR every time, because when him and I do a show like this, when we do our episode, as soon as we're done being live, first thing he does is just Florida boy, man, I can't be wearing no shirt. And I'm like, dude, you just showing off. Shut up.
You put in that much work, you might as well show it.
Yeah, he's suffering right now with wearing a mask at the gym. He's not happy.
I bet.
He's definitely heated about that. But he's got he's got some good things going on down there in Florida with Atomic Wrestling, and they're doing, Atomic's doing good. So EC3 is going to be there, his first indie show.
Awesome.
They're trying to get Heath down there, all that stuff. So man, it's a weird, it's a crazy time with just the indies and what's going on with so many people out there working right now. And
exciting though, super exciting. I'm very hopeful for just how many opportunities are out there. Especially, you know, I don't want to get too much into it, but with kind of the people being routed out who aren't the best kind of people, creates opportunities. So the people who are doing things the right way, working hard, have characters, like look at Warhorse, he's going to be on AEW, and it's all from fan support. And someone like Orange Cassidy in the 90s would have never even been on an indie show maybe, but he's more talented than most people in the 90s and has a better character than most people in the 90s. So it's a very fun time to be a wrestler or wrestling fan.
right.
So I'm curious about a couple things. One, how has pandemic affected you in helping run that promotion? I mean, obviously you can do some things in Wisconsin that you can't do in Minnesota at this point now. And so, tell me a little and tell us a little bit about how that you kind of have to be adaptable to do shows with this stuff going on.
Absolutely. And I've been losing hair. I've been getting pimples. I've been stressing out so much from it. So I'm taking a lot of the reins and taking it personally because I book these talent. I want to make sure they're safe. I want to make sure the fans are safe. I'm putting my name on something, and I'm very passionate about keeping people safe from COVID-19. I have parents in their 60s or older. You know, everyone's got that situation or someone, a loved one. So I make sure everyone's safe and no one dies from wrestling because wrestling's awesome.
Right.
I live and breathe for wrestling, but it's not everything about life. So we actually have a show on August 8th in Ellsworth, Wisconsin, which is right across the border from Minnesota, like right next to Red Wing, Minnesota. So I'm doing everything I can. So we are spraying down the ropes before every match, after every match, at the end of the night, spraying down the ropes with disinfectant, making sure everybody at least has the opportunity to wear a mask. So we're giving out free masks. If they want to bring their own mask, we definitely encourage that. If they don't want to wear a mask, the way we're working with that is that we're doing social distancing. So we're spreading the chairs out. We're outside. We're next to a bar. Or we're running in conjunction with this bar, but it's outside next to a large field. So making sure that, you know, everyone's safely social distanced. I wish everyone would just wear a mask, but the bar has different views on that. So I'm just making the best of the situation. We have hand sanitizing stations. In the locker room, everyone's required to wear a mask. We're going to take temperatures as people come in, take temperature of people in the locker room. So even if I'm sick, I will bow out. If anybody's sick, doesn't matter for a champion or we have Airwolf on the show. He's super awesome. We don't get him a lot. If he's sick, I'm sure he'd be mature enough to step out too. So this is serious. I mean, wrestling is everyone's life, but we don't know the long-term effects of COVID, and it could, you know, ruin your career 5 years down the road, or it could kill a loved one, which I don't know. No one wants to do that. So It's been very, very stressful, but I think we're doing everything we can, and I can't wait for the show to happen because I can't wait to get back in the ring, but I also can't wait to see how it goes. And I'm sure there'll be some hiccups, sure there'll be some mistakes, but we're going in with the best intentions and the best, you know, groundwork. So hopefully no one gets sick, and hopefully it's a great show. So it's a first show back for a lot of Minnesota guys. So we're super excited.
What's the date on that?
Date is August 8th, Saturday.
Oh.
6 p.m. doors, 7 p.m. bell time. We've got Airwolf there. Angel and Airwolf are tagging the Top Flight against our in-house tag team, NDS, which is Riley Jackson and Levy Cruz. So that should be the top match. We also have JDX, who's actually wrestling ACH.
Oh wow!
Couple weeks into August. So this is his first match before his match with ACH. So it's a title match, but it's definitely a warm match for that match.
Right.
And I'll be wrestling for the TV title against our biggest heel, Nick Nelson. So I'm excited for that.
And
we're gonna say that. Go ahead, Ace.
I was gonna say if that's the 8th, I might have to make that the trip there. That's not long. That's not far.
And
from
speaking of the Impact show or the Hall of Fame show, Eugene will be there too.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
So
JR, if you're not doing anything, we should make that trip.
I'm actually, as far as I know, I'm actually doing a benefit show for the fellow that's running for mayor of Burnsville.
Oh wow!
Yeah, big deal here. So one of the things that our show is the 2 Count. We talk about comedy and wrestling because I'm a stand-up comedian. I travel around, and there are so many similarities between you as an indie wrestler and me as an indie comic. All right.
Absolutely.
And it's very much I try to explain this to guys that are comics that aren't into wrestling. It's very much like you're protecting the business because you don't want some knucklehead to screw it up for everybody. One of the things I'm curious about, though, is after all this time, I'm assuming that most wrestlers have had time off. They're working in the gym on their own, but they're not able to work with another wrestler, another talent, maybe to make sure that they have all the ring rust knocked off. I know for me, when I go out and do these shows, it's 2-3 weeks apart from when I was last on stage. I'm a little bit off timing wise, and I have to assume that it's a little bit the same for you guys, huh?
Yeah, that's definitely the case. It's definitely a worry. Luckily, Airwolf and Angel Dorado, they're brothers. They still live with their parents and they have a backyard. They actually rented a ring out 2 weeks ago. So
Oh
we
my
had to
God.
bump around a little bit. It was on the 4th of July. Drunk neighbors came by the fence. They kind of peeked over like the neighbor from Home Improvement
Yeah.
while drinking beers, fireworks going off, and they watched us wrestle. So it was Airwolf, Angel Dorado, JDX, Josh C., James Tapia, Devon Monroe, Kyle Pro. So we had a good card going.
Oh my
for
God.
their neighborhood.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great 4th of July right there. That's better than just
Yeah.
fireworks and the normal run of bill 4th of July.
We had a lot of fireworks. You could smell like the gunpowder in the air. So it was truly a freedom. It was like, yes, this is America.
Oh, that's
Oh my-
awesome. So, Petey, how long have you been at it? Like, how long have you been, like, first of all, when did you start training?
Yeah, I started training with the Primetime School of Pro Wrestling here out in Minnesota in August 2015. We were trained by the owner as well as Greg McDonald's the owner, as well as Billy Blaze, who was a wrestler at the time. But also the really cool name to fame, or the cool stamp, Eddie Sharkey came once a week.
Oh, wow.
Which is super solid. He was just in Dark Side of the Ring, which I was so surprised he was there.
Right.
I guess they're talking about the Road Warriors. That happened a lot up here in Minnesota. So I trained there, debuted January 2016, last weekend of the month for CWE up in Winnipeg. So my first match, I was already international superstar.
Nice.
So that was really fun. I got to wrestle Tyler Colton, who's insanely talented, has wrestled over in China, and he's huge. He's like, and my body, his skeleton's probably bigger than my body. So I got tossed around, but it was a lot of fun. Then I've trained at the academy too. I've been officially graduated just due to injuries. I broke my ribs and broke my ankle within 2 years. So I've been healthy since then. So fingers crossed when I come back.
Definitely. So the academy, that's Ken Anderson and Davari, am I right?
Correct.
Okay. And that's still a newer school, right? They've only been at it for like 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, about like 3 years. I think it opened late 2017. Now it's just Ken Anderson because Davari went to become an agent at WWE.
That's right.
I know he got laid off, but I'm not sure what he's doing now. But starting at the academy with Davari, Ken, and then Molly Holly would come in. Eric Cannon would come in. So I mean, you had to not want it to be able to, to not get it. They had so many different great opinions. Every single person's been through so many different like stories and careers that you could pick. It was just you're underneath the learning tree of all learning trees. So it was a great experience.
Yeah, definitely. Molly Holly's huge, man. I love Molly Holly. Like, so underrated. Like,
Right.
I'll watch her all day. So
Nicest person ever too.
I can imagine that. Definitely. JR,
So I'm curious because you mentioned a couple of different trainers. Do they each have kind of their own way, or is everything kind of here are the basics? We're going to do this, and then they've got some maybe specialties that they can show you. Because I'm not familiar with the training, other than the fact that when I was a young man 100 years ago, I almost went to Vern's school, but I didn't. At the time, I was naive, and so the whole deal was it's $3,000 to go to the school, and in 1980 that was a lot of money, and I didn't have it. But the $3,000 was to weed out the dumb shits like me who didn't. When you hear the stories, in a lot of cases, it's like, yeah, you should go over and see about this guy. I was not one of those guys. I was just a big. Anyway, point being, what kind of insight can you give us about how the different trainers operate in what they teach you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I would say back then it was either you pay the money, the $3,000, or they bump you out. You just take so many bumps, you get the piss kicked out of you, and if you want to stay, great. Because that's what happened to Hulk Hogan. He got his leg broke, and he wanted it so bad, so he stayed. Not saying Hulk Hogan's done other great things, but that's just a story. But with us, mine was $3,000 with prime time. Luckily, the academy had a deal. Since I had prior training, it was only $1,000, which I don't want to pay $6,000 for all training. Right. Again, if I did pay $3,000 for the academy, it would have been worth every penny. But I would say the training more at the primetime school was a lot more fitness training and very, very basic. So learning headlocks, arm drags, hip tosses. We weren't learning frog splash on top rope or anything crazy or crazy spots. Like our craziest spot was maybe an international spot. And then we'd go to the trainers or work with, our fellow students saying, hey, I saw this spot on TV that, John Cena and CM Punk did at the time. Let's try that spot out. So there's a lot of us bringing what we learned to the table. With the academy, however, you have people who were in WWE, who succeed in WWE, or Eric Cannon, who is one of the top indie wrestlers, of the past 10, 20 years. Yeah. So they all taught, Ken and Sean taught a lot of the basics of just, hey, this is how you take a bump, this is how you do an arm drag, a headlock, takeover, and then they would just build off that base. So they were very good at being like, here's the building blocks. You can't get to step, or level B until you master level A, which is exactly what you want to do, because you can really hurt somebody if you're rushing to do a spot like international drill. If you're doing arm drag, hip toss, body slam, leapfrog, and you're too tired on leapfrog to get over, you can either do a flip land on your neck or maybe slam someone wrong. So they made sure you knew all the basics before you advance the next level. But hearing their ring psychology was great. It was awesome, especially to hear Sean, who literally got hired by WWE like 2 months after he left the academy, to put together matches. So you're getting a guy who's training you, who's putting together matches that are at the top level. So it was great. And every one of them had a different personality. It was a lot of fun. They could have made a sitcom on ABC about it. Probably not on ABC because Sean swears too much, but it was great. I couldn't. If you want to be a pro wrestler in the Midwest, go to the academy. It's a great school.
Yeah, there's some really, just right now, I feel like it's a good time for schools. Like there's some really great schools. Unfortunately, Lance Storm's school closed. That's sad. He was running a really good one, but you got the academy. You've got Dr. Tom and Kane with theirs over in Tennessee. They're cranking out talent. You got the Monster Factory and Danny Cage over there on the East Coast cranking out talent. Like there's some really great schools right now. What I want to ask you though, Petey, is with all that training, like how does that eventually go? Because like I said, you did that evaluation at the Hall of Fame, which if anybody doesn't know, every year at the Hall of Fame weekend in Waterloo, they do the evaluation where talent can come sign up for this thing. They do an evaluation show, kind of like a private show, and you have Jerry Briscoe. Man, that year was it him? Was JJ there? Dylan?
JJ was there. Yep, JJ Dylan was there. I went one year where JR was there.
Yeah,
was super cool.
Yeah, JR used to be down there too.
Actually, at that show, I wrestled Brandon Gore in his first match.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was at that show when JR was there. So Brandon Gore could say that his first match he wrestled in front of JR.
That's amazing. Cool. That's what's great about that weekend, man. I love that weekend.
Fun fact too, he went by Tanner Moore.
Nice. So like, how does that go though? Like people don't understand what these because I've been there. I've watched the evaluation like part many times, even before they were like really making it a thing with that weekend where people can come, and it was kind of like, only if you bought the all access can you come to this, where now it's kind of, you can just buy a ticket and go to the evaluation part of it. But the big thing is how does that go as far as when it breaks down afterwards? Because y'all go to a room privately, you're all in there with those guys and they're talking to you. Are they calling you guys out each one and like having one-on-ones? Is it just a group atmosphere? And then what is it like when you get told by these guys who, especially at that time, because at that time Jerry Briscoe was still working for WWE as a talent scout. So, I mean, you do have legitimate people watching.
Yeah, it's definitely a group call out. We're all there to get better, so it's not shooting on anybody. We know what they're saying is honest, and they're not trying to pick on anybody. Because a lot of times they don't know this guy. It's just another wrestler from the Midwest. So I remember, who's the old school guy who wears all the bedazzled stuff? He's around Impact a lot. used to wrestle a lot, longer hair, kind of Ric Flair vibes. Can't remember his name.
Oh man, I don't remember.
If you saw him, but he was like an old-time wrestler from Iowa. He
Okay.
gave my hardest criticism because I do more of like the Orange Cassidy style. Like I do dancing. I like to have fun with it because I can't do what like Airwolf does, and I can't do what Angel does, and I'm not as big as Brandon Gore. So I try to do what I'm passionate about, what I personally want to see, and what I believe I'm good at. So he wasn't a huge fan of like doing the comedy. He's like, oh man, back in the day, if we saw someone do that, we would have beat you up in the locker room because you're crapping on the business. You're crapping on all the matches after us. I'm like, no, not necessarily. Because something Eric Cannon says a lot. It's some people like pineapple on pizza. Some people don't. But there's a pizza for everybody. And, a show should have every single type of pizza so every fan is satisfied, one aspect or another. Maybe there's crossover Venn diagram. But that was the harsh advice I got from there. I think JJ gave me advice to lean up a little bit because I was putting on muscle, so I was a little bigger. Just kind of lean up a little bit, which it's always a battle with weight. I don't have like Adrian Peterson's genetics, or he's amazing like Ricochet genetics. So it's always a battle to stay in great shape because you don't want to get too skinny, you don't want to get too fat, and it's a hard balance because I'm definitely not from a huge athletic background, so I have to put in a lot of work with diet and at the gym all the time. So, but it's very helpful, and both times I was able to get on the shows, and it's a great weekend. I suggest anybody do it. You'll get your money's worth.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, bummer that it got canceled this year. This year's marquee guest would have been Trish Stratus. She's already confirmed for next year, so she will be there. They're adding a new award, too. They added a Broadcasters Award honoree now that's going to be part of the Hall of Fame. And I know Troy is working very hard to put some really cool stuff together for the show. Plus, Wes and I will do another live podcast with special guests next year at that show. So, again, make sure you check that out, Hall of Fame. Chris, that's a good question because this will kind of go into what we were just talking about, JR.
Chris asked, and I don't know if you can see that question or not, Petey. Chris asked, oh, okay.
So the wrestler that inspired me the most was John Cena. I didn't get started into wrestling. A lot of people are Attitude Era, especially around my age, are Attitude Era babies. But I didn't start until 2002, 2003. My friend got me into wrestling through video games. He's like, hey, dude, you can create yourself in a video game. You can wear whatever you want. You can do awesome super kicks and fireman's carries and all these cool things and walk out to your own entrance music. So that got me hooked because I wanted to learn, hey, who am I wrestling? And one of the guys who I hooked on right away was John Cena because I was a 12-year-old white kid in a small town. So, oh, cool, white guy acting like, he's a thug. I'm like, oh, awesome. That's how it goes. So, but I mean, he's like, his raps were so fun and so entertaining. And especially for a 12-year-old that pushed the boundaries of like, oh, he's, pretty badass, or, he kind of swore, or he made this reference. So he hooked me, and I'm still hooked because he's a real life superhero of what he does inside and outside the ring. And I mean, I've got a lot of other inspirations, but if I had to name one, it'd be John Cena. And it was super corny. I had one experience where I was an extra. We were in XL Center, and I was at the end of the locker room, and like the far end, and I could see him through the doorway. And I just saw him there talking, jorts and all. And I was like, man, this might be the only time I can't talk to him. I chickened out because I was just like, if I was John Cena, I wouldn't want this random kid talking to him. But at least I got to be like across the way. We might have made eye contact. I might have gained some of his powers, but who knows?
That's awesome. The funny thing is I love John Cena too, but I like to heckle him too. So like I've had two different experiences where heckling him and he's like called me out in front of like during commercial breaks. When we were like right by the ring one night, and I was just like he had a conversation with me for a minute there, and like it was just weird. It was during commercial. We both laughed, but it was just like afterwards, I was just like, that was odd. I didn't expect him to like actually interact with me like that. But plus also you made it sound like you got on the word life is trained, so that's cool too. At least it was then. But what other moments though? I mean, like that you got hooked then. What else has like hooked you into this business? Are there any key moments that like a match or something? Like I mean, tons of people will tell you about like Steamboat and Savage or Hell in the Cell with Mankind and Taker. Just these iconic moments in the wrestling world. Like which ones have been in your life that you're like, man, that's it. I always think of that one.
I remember working at my college during the summer. And I didn't have pay-per-views, so I had to legally stream the pay-per-view in the library. and it had AC, which my dorm at that time during the summer did not have AC. So I was there as well for that. But, and I saw this on the internet because I think the anniversary just happened. Money in the Bank, Chicago, CM Punk, John Cena. Oh my gosh, there was not like Dark Knight, Joker, and Batman couldn't touch the emotion, the story, and the stakes. And that they actually pulled the trigger to let CM Punk win in his hometown. I wish there was more of that now.
Oh,
AEW is definitely doing that kind of stuff. I love that. I love WWE more than I love AEW, but it's cool to see AEW starting to do more stuff like that. But when WWE actually wants to take a chance, man, there's a payoff. That match really hooked me. I would say WrestleMania 21, Cena versus JBL when he finally got the title.
Yeah.
That was very cool. I'm trying to not John Cena match because there's so many better matches than John Cena matches. He's a great storyteller though. I love John Cena, Bray Wyatt. I wish Bray Wyatt would have went over.
Oh yeah,
but,
dude, one of my favorites all the time is always going to be, and I say this because this is how I acknowledge it, is Once in a Lifetime. I don't.
Oh yeah.
29 never happened in my books. That just didn't happen. But dude, that first of all, you've never seen a year build to a match, so that was huge. And the fact that it started on that 20 or whatever 27 into 28 when he screwed Miz over, and then just to carry that for a year. And then to be there, I was there at that show in Miami.
That'd be amazing.
I've told JR this and anybody else who will listen. The response from the crowd in that open air stadium in Miami. I've been in a lot of stadiums like that, and you don't feel that crowd because it's an open air stadium, whatever. But man, that night there was something. It was electric. When he won, that stadium was shaking. And I've never been in an outdoor stadium that would shake like that. I've been inside arenas and stuff, but I mean, that it was just so crazy, the energy that was going on in that match. I watched it back last week actually, and just watching it, like, man, the crowd was so
when
hot.
they look at each other, when they just look at each other,
Yeah.
it's almost like the Rock, because the Rock and Hogan had that moment.
Yeah,
When they looked at each other, it's the things where you don't have to do anything at all. It's just a moment in time and space. And that's why wrestling is so special. Is that you can have those moments where it's like, this is why I'm a wrestling fan. It's like an exalted experience where it's like maybe there is a higher power, maybe something else is at work here, because this is not normal. This shouldn't be happening. It's two dudes in spandex looking at each other, all oiled up. Why should we care? But you do because you love it.
Oh, perfect. And that's what people don't get who don't like wrestling is that is the perfect storytelling. You know what I mean? Like, you can laugh and be like, oh, it's just guys in their underwear rolling around. But like, no, like they for a year had people invested in this, and just the 30 minute match itself had people invested in it. And again, like you said, just the looks, they didn't have to say anything. You think of Triple H and Taker for I don't remember if it was the first or second match. I think it was the first match they had at Mania 27, where Taker comes back to be spoiled by Triple H coming back, but those two never actually said a word in the ring. They just stared down, pointed, did the nod, and it was over. And it had so much buzz. Like, I was in 100%. Like, that's an art.
Totally. It's so special when you get those moments. And I hope they continue to build stars. So it's like, you don't need to bring an Undertaker back. You can just have new guys that you can build up to create those moments. So that's the one thing I worry about with WWE, where AEW's done a great job building their new stars. Granted, it's new company, so it's kind of brand new slate, but I hope WWE does the same too.
So another question from Chris there.
Oh, your favorite?
Who's my favorite indie wrestler? I would say a bias. He's my best friend, but JDX for Minnesota at least is a total package. He's got a great look. He's got a great wrestling mind, great gimmick, great catchphrase, very smooth in the ring, can stay, with anybody. It's hard to say who's your favorite indie character or wrestler because all of them are getting called up.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not, which is again awesome. So I'm super happy about that because I was gonna say I loved Orange Cassidy. I loved Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana was, again, next to John Cena, Colt Cabana was the reason why I got into wrestling. Through his podcast, listening to him, and my first Canadian tour, he was super nice. He sat aside, let me pick his brain, bought me Subway. Of course, Subway, right? It's Colt Cabana. But super nice dude. So, I mean, there's so many guys who just got called to AEW. That's why I enjoy watching AEW so much, because these guys who never got a shot, who are killing in the indies, now get their shot, and they are killing it. up in AEW. But yeah, I would say Minnesota's got a lot of great talent. I love Dion Russman. I love to look him from Iowa. He's got an amazing look. He looks like Roman Reigns and Jason Momoa combined. Yeah, he's got a great look. He's already had a dark match on WWE Raw when you're both extras, and he looked like he belonged. I can't remember if he wrestled with Aleister Black or Buddy Murphy, but he looked like he'd be a perfect opponent for him. So I think he's got a lot of promise. Roy Flash Gordon out of Chicago is really talented. I mean, there's a lot of guys in name. I'm more fans of guys who have actually been in the ring with, just because I'm rooting for them. I feel like I'm on their team more than someone in like New York or Florida or whatever.
Right.
So
I'm letting you go, JR. I don't know if you have questions. I can keep going.
I'm content to listen to everything. I have, my questions are a little bit different than Nate. Mine are more business-like, and because I compare again what I do for my job to you. So you are running or helping run the promotion. Do you physically or yourself contact venues and try to set up new venues where you can do shows? And if so, then is it part of your deal to try to retain those venues?
I've done it a couple times where I looked into different venues. That's generally Tony's job. He works with a lot of high schools, a lot of venues. I let him do that. That's his specialty. My specialty, I work more on the marketing side, using Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, helping out with the TV show, producing that, working with our editors of the TV show, and then booking the talent, running the shows, making sure the sponsors are as happy as possible. And then, it's writing the shows. So it's a lot. I wear a lot of hats.
It is a lot. I mean, in essence, as a producer and then also a participant, that's got to be even more difficult. I'm curious. Obviously, we will let people know where they can see the shows online. Obviously, we want them to go there and watch you live, but we'd also encourage them to watch what you guys are doing. I'm assuming you have a YouTube channel.
Yes, it's PRO AWF TV. So PRO AWF TV. So we have a channel 45 here. It's like a subsidiary of, I think, ABC or CBS, and we have a show every Saturday. So once the show airs, we put it on YouTube, as well as we have an interview show. Our announcer, DJ Draper, it's called the Draper Dialogue. So we interview wrestlers in Minnesota. We've done some other states too. Just having fan questions, our questions, and something to tide the fans over while COVID was going on.
Heck yeah, dude. And you're also doing your own thing too. You got your PD parties going down, am I right?
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah, I'm working really hard at that. My side career is in social media marketing and like a specialist. So I've been working really hard on video editing, video producing, photoshopping, photo editing, poster editing. So it's been making the YouTube channel has helped me during COVID use my creativity I've used in the ring now with these videos. So my channel is called PD Party Videos. I've collaborated with a lot of people in Minnesota, made my own ideas I've always wanted to make, and I really enjoy video editing. So it's been awesome to release videos every Friday, probably around 1 o'clock or sometime around that time. But I'm only at 50 followers or subscribers, and I've got over 3,000 Facebook friends. So please subscribe so I can monetize. That'd be awesome.
Subscribe to the PD's channel there, man. Get on that. Isn't that weird, dude? We're the same way between JR and I. We've got so many friends, and we have very few compared. We have not as many people subscribing. So
agreed.
It's hard too, though, man. We've talked about me and Wes we do our Briscoe and Big A show, and even that it's slow, man. It's hard to you got to know what you're doing social media wise, YouTube wise. It's not just going to put a show out and I'm going to be huge, I'm going to be a YouTuber. It is not like that. You got to put some work into it. So yeah, Chris, man, get on that, brother. I love it.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you, Chris.
For sure, man. I want to ask you about this because you mentioned you were an extra. How does that go about, man? Because that's I never really asked anybody about that process. I know people who have gone from indie to one of the main roster or WWE or AEW. I know people who are indie who are pro, the big shows. But I've never actually really talked to anybody about the process of how does it happen when you become an extra. I mean, I saw when you were on it, actually. I remember watching you on. I remember watching Ricky Love when he did it once, James Jeffries, Frankie J. I remember seeing all these people that I know doing it in the last few years. But I've never asked anybody, like, how does that process work where you get this call to come down and do their show?
I can't reveal all of it, but you have some sort of connection. So I have a connection to WWE through some way. That's why James got there, probably through Briscoe. So I have a connection, or somebody has connection. John Cohn, the head referee, reaches out to you, or you reach out to him too, saying, "Hey, I see you guys are going to be in Minneapolis on Monday, and when SmackDown was on Tuesday, SmackDown in Milwaukee or whatever."
Right.
So then you reach out to them. They ask for your blood work and all that, all the safe stuff,
Right.
physical, send pictures, and then you're good to go. You take a physical, and a lot of it's sitting around and waiting, which catering's amazing, but can be for really long days, especially if you're traveling. The last time I think it was in Milwaukee for SmackDown, I was up for over 24 hours because we woke up, traveled to Milwaukee, came back, and then I had an indie show. I had a F show that Saturday.
Oh, wow.
So they make for long days, but on Raw, it's such a long show and so busy. If you have extra work, they'll get you involved. If you need to be like a EMT person or a bodyguard or a security person, they'll get you involved. On SmackDown days, sometimes they let you do tryout matches, which are awesome. Past couple times I've done it, they haven't done any tryout matches because SmackDown's live.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of last second changes, so people are in the ring longer. I've had a couple tryout matches, luckily against really good people. My first one was against Danny Duggan. Next one was against Darren Corbin, which is a fun story. He finished me off with End of Days right in front of Baron Corbin.
Oh, nice.
And everyone's like, oh. But Baron gave the thumbs up. So
nice.
So that was pretty cool. And then I had a tag team match with a couple of Wisconsin wrestlers, Adam Grace, TW3, and Jordy Lee. And we didn't know we were tagging. And they're like, hey, 1 minute till your match. You guys are tagging. You're going against these guys. So we had to figure things out in 1 minute. So that was hectic.
Nice.
We'll pop up a little bit of a heckle here. This happens from time to time. Overrate Ric Flair.
Hey, I'll take Daniel Bryan, whatever, bro. And I do love the buffet.
But I think you're being
no.
I think you're being very rude to our guest.
I'm No Neck McGee. Look, I got a beard. I'm sorry.
Plus, Goro, whatever your name is, you're already wrong because Marty Jannetty is washed up. Marty Jannetty. No one can take that place.
Nobody can do that.
He's just like, that guy's a trick.
Rest in peace. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know.
Man, dude, I remember being at Dallas 32 Mania, and we were doing WrestleCon, and dude, I legit saw I told JR the story. We were leaving the hotel WrestleCon was in, and like there's a drunk Marty Jannetty in the fountain in the lobby of the hotel. Like, there's video. If you look online, you'll find the video of it. Oh man, like the dude was gone. He was with a girl half his age. Like the Nasty Boys were feeding him drinks at like 5 when we saw him. It was like 10. It was hilarious, man. I mean, kind of, but I mean, yeah, dude, Marty Jannetty. I've seen his social media too, man. Like that guy's special, man. He's a special dude. Like, whew. Anyways, that's
T's and P's, thoughts and prayers.
Right. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, the extra stuff I've always wondered about, and I kind of figure like, yeah, there's got to be connections to get in there, but man, that's like you said, that could be a long night waiting around just for whatever it is that you're gonna do. It's
a long day.
Do they
you have to be there at either 12 or at 1 o'clock?
Is that the same time as the actual superstars too, or do they have a later call time?
Yeah, it's around that time.
Is it? Are you separated, or are you able to kind of mix it up with the talent from there?
Definitely separated in locker room and catering. Everyone's just kind of hanging out. Just if someone's busy, don't be a jerk and talk to them if they're doing stuff. But I remember my first time I was super nervous, and I think the only person I knew was Danny Duggan. He helped me out a lot, kind of break into my shell when I first started wrestling. And so I was just like, he was being quiet. So if he was quiet and he's super loud, I was like, I'm gonna be quiet. But then I started talking to people. Sami Zayn started a conversation with me. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. So then I started talking to other people, and they're really nice. So
nice, man. So looking back at the time you've been in wrestling so far, what are your like most proudest moments? What are those ones that you're at this point in your career you look back and you're like, that was a great moment?
Yeah, I mean, I can get definitely corny on it. It's such a pain in the ass to run AWF, but to be able to see people grow, my friends grow, who people I consider my best friends now, grow and see how they're not even like there yet. They're going to be superstars, but to see them grow and to see that I can help them, give them the platform to help them grow, it's super rewarding. Because I'm not sure if I'll ever make WWE. Maybe with my character gimmick, that'd be awesome. I definitely would have a dream of working for WWE in like their marketing social media department. But just being able to help out my friends and I consider my family to push their careers. I was really proud of my match with System. We did a no holds barred match just recently it was like my longest feud. It was like a 1.5 year long feud. So that was pretty cool. Wrestling those with the Hall of Fame shows are way cool. Or just being a part of a show to know that I put like it. AWF definitely can be a huge headache, but knowing that I pulled off an awesome show and helped make the card and make the show, and being in the ring, seeing everyone around and having a great time, and know that you were a huge hand in that, like that's what really gets me going. I'm like, I helped create a great time for people and created love and spread love around wrestling community. So if I can do that, whether I'm in the ring or booking or writing articles or whatever, if I can contribute to the wrestling industry rather than take from it, because I've taken so much from it and it's given me so much, that's what I'd say my proudest moments. I mean, just funny, cool moments. My last bump of 2019 was Roman Reigns putting me through a table at Target Center, where I saw my first show when I was in 7th grade with my mom, and Ric Flair's butt showed, which he remembers to this day. That same area, I got slammed through a table by Roman Reigns. So.
Which show was that? I bet you we were there.
That was TLC.
2015.
I was Baron Corbin's security. Oh, not the Ric Flair butt. But, that was at a random house show in like 2006 or 7.
Right. Was that the 2019 TLC though? What TLC? Yep. JR, was that the one we were at?
Yeah, that's the one we were at.
Oh, yeah, so we were there. We were.
I was part of Baron Corbin's caravan carrying his throne or his seat that he was sitting on. It was the first time me doing caravan. Every other guy did it before, and we went up on 1, 2, 3, go. I went up 1, 2, 3, so I went up a little early and it tilted a little bit. I was like, oh man, I'm being known as the guy to tilt Baron Corbin over, but we made it happen. And then I got to try to throw a punch at Roman Reigns, and he did not take that punch, and he gave me not a power bomb. He gave me a spine buster with some grip or some tech. Didn't take a chair off that table, so he really didn't have anybody to put me. So my back of the head hit the chair, and I pretty much hit the stage, which you don't want to get a hitch in your butt, and it kind of hurts to walk. Yeah, that kind of helped. That kind of happens. TW3 helped me walk to the back, so props to TW3.
Oh, that's so crazy. That's I'd be just scared to see Roman Reigns coming at me to do anything, to be honest. But man, that's crazy. So
he hit me the night before, or 2 nights before on Friday Night SmackDown. He hit me so hard in the side of the head. He gave me a clothesline, hit me right in the side of the head, that after we got done with our segment, Jamie Noble came to the back and grabbed me. Didn't tell me what it was from. Pulled me to Gorilla, where it was Jamie, Davari, Sean Davari, my old trainer, and Roman. And he's like, hey, man, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm fine. He's like, that was a hell of a bump. You're going to pay bump. I was like, cool, it works for me. I thought I was in trouble for some reason.
Right.
Like maybe I didn't do something right, or I don't know. It was a fun story.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Awesome.
I just love that kind of stuff. So are you at the point where when you get these opportunities and you've got these guys that have made it, are you still kind of a fanboy? Or because I know for me, I still get starstruck when I'm around certain people that I get a chance to work with. But as you mentioned, be cool. Don't let that inner dick out. Do you still have that kind of fanboy deal going on when you run into big stars?
Absolutely. If I ran into John Cena, I would still lose it. Every once in a while, I'll try to find a guy who means a lot to me, like Zack Ryder means a lot to me, influenced my character. a lot. He influenced my diet with nutrition solutions, so I like brought up a couple different things to him. So I mean, it just depends. But the more you're, especially if you're on a 3-day extra work, you just get used to them. They're some of the boys, and a lot of the guys will say hi to you and just kind of, you know, not be like divas about it. So it's pretty cool. It's a great experience. Super thankful to be able to have done it. So.
That's awesome. It is funny too how that happens, because doing this stuff with Wes and all that, like, and just like the Hall of Fame and just the years I've been doing broadcasting for wrestling, like, you get to a point where it's like, that's awesome, I'm a fan, but this is, I'm not gonna freak out though, like, it is just right. But then there are,
cool.
Right, but then there's just those few people, like Wes and I had Dr. Tom on, and like that was a moment where I'm like,
that'd be way cool.
Tom Pritchard, this is pretty awesome. And when I met Undertaker the night before the streak ended at Access, and that was
so cool.
That was just like, I mean, I don't even think I said anything. I was just like, you're awesome.
Just absorb it.
Yeah, and he's just like, thanks.
Feel the presence. Yeah.
You know, like it's crazy. Do we know who this Gordo guy is? Because he keeps saying my name, but he wants to know if you've done DDP yoga, Petey.
I've not. I've done yoga. It's usually hot yoga where it's like 60 minutes or an hour and a half, which kills you. But yeah, yoga is super important if you're a wrestler, especially with my injuries, my back and my ankle.
Yeah, like I was telling JR, we had a fan listening last week who's been on it, lost a lot of weight, all that good stuff. And
awesome.
It's awesome. It does a lot, man. Like flexibility, you can stretch more, you're more mobile, and all that. It's really cool. I just don't do it. I know you guys can't see this, but I'm reading these comments, and I just love that.
I don't know what to pop up and what not to at this point.
I know he was in a new gimmick for you, Petey. We didn't put that one up. He said you should be the modern suburb Sal, suburban Sal,
suburban Sal.
Suburban Sal, but he's also saying that I could have stopped the streak and that I failed everybody. And you're right. That next night, I was like, no,
you jinxed it.
I did. What the hell?
You aced him.
I know, man. I know, dude. Well, Petey, like, unless Jared, do you have anything else?
No, I just really want to let you know how much we appreciate you coming on with us.
Thank you, guys.
And we, anytime we can help you out in any way, you please let us know. We're more than happy to do it.
Yeah, dude. And I think I'm gonna drive up for that show. You said it's up by Red Wing, because that's like,
Ellsworth, Wisconsin. Up by Red Wing. A lot of safety precautions taking place. If you can wear a mask, please do. Bring hand sanitizer, and yeah, I'm busting my butt to make it as safe as possible.
Yeah, man, for sure. I have my mask, so I can. I'll bring that. I got my little Lucha Libre mask, so I'll bring it.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, man, dude. I think I'm gonna come up for that show. I'm gonna try to get my nephew or something, just because I haven't been to a show in forever, and I'm missing.
I know you're like itching for it.
So bad. And it'd be cool to see you and the other guys out there. So yeah, I think
amazing card.
Yeah, for sure. And plus, it's always great when Mr. Densmore is around. So Petey, before we go though, man, what else you got going on? Shout out that YouTube again. Anything else you got going? Let everybody know.
Yeah, thank you, Ace. Thanks, Sean, for everything. It's a great time talking to you guys. I'm really pushing my YouTube channel. I'm putting a lot of effort and a lot of work, doing a lot of fun collaborations with people. I got one video where it's got about 20 people from the Midwest wrestling scene on there. Nice. So it's been fun to collaborate, people get the support. But follow my YouTube. It's PD Party Videos. Could be under Patrick Brown, but you search PD Party Videos, you'll find it. Help get me to 100 followers or subscribers, maybe to 1,000 one day, so I can monetize off it, and I'll keep making fun videos. I'm at Down Town Petey Brown on Twitter and Instagram, and yeah, follow my YouTube. That's what I'm trying to push. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to message me or comments. But subscribe to that YouTube.
Yeah, guys, everybody go check them out. Subscribe to us too. Subscribe to Ella. Yep. Help us all.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah. And check it out. JR, you got any shows coming up? You said you have a benefit.
So it's a benefit, but I don't know what the situation is. It's on the same night as PD's show, August 8th. It's going to be somewhere in Burnsville. It's for Chris Cleveter, who's running for mayor. It's a fundraiser. I'm not. He doesn't have details yet because obviously, with all of this stuff, we don't know where it's going. So we got that. And then on August 30th, I'm up at the Island Casino in Harris, Michigan, which is a little bit south of Escanaba. That's a Sunday night show, and it's free. So if you want to drive 8 hours with me or whatever the hell, however far it is, you can come and see that garbage. Because it'll be, actually, I'm with Mars Tim from Chicago. He's fantastic. You'll love him way more than you love me. I guarantee it. But that's it for me. Other than the back surgery on Friday, it's not terrible, but it's not gonna be fun.
T's and P's.
Yeah.
T's and Y's.
Nice. Well, hopefully that goes well, man.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I just want to get it done at this point.
Yeah.
They're just gonna fillet me and take some stuff out.
It's not important.
Right.
So that's
just the bad stuff.
Yeah.
It's stuff I don't want in there anyway. So
Just
all right.
make sure you sell it really hard when you come out.
Oh, I will. Oh, believe me, I'm already going to use that card as much as possible.
There you go.
Folks, again, you got until Friday to tell us your favorite Jericho Cruise stories. If you want to do that, we got a merch pack for you, plus a $50 Amazon gift card. Petey, if you've ever met Chris Jericho, you might win if you put up a story, because right now we don't have a bunch of them.
I've seen him in catering. That's about it. Nothing.
Hey, that's
special.
better. That's almost as good as the one that's in the lead.
That's winning. Yeah.
It's the one that's in the lead. So anyway, folks, do all of that. Subscribe to Petey's stuff. Subscribe to our stuff. And you know what? We will see you all next week.
Briscoe.
Do you guys want one last thing? I'm probably getting heat from my girlfriend for being gone so long. If I can show you, like in the Marvel movies, there's a last second cameo.
Yeah.
I'll give you one last second cameo. Ready?
Let's get it. He looks like he's in a way more fun place than we are. Right
Oh, I
now.
know.
Oh, it's too dark.
I got JDX.
Oh my God! What up?
Awesome.
Shout out JDX in the house.
And the rest of my party, yeah.
There they are.
Oh
Look at
my
everybody.
God.
We apologize for keeping Petey away from the party. It looks like, guys. Sorry.
Now,
Yeah.
Petey, thank you so much. Now we really do owe you, buddy.
We're gonna
We
do
really
this.
owe
No
you.
worries.
I'm gonna come up to that show and see you on the 8th.
Thank you. Thanks,
All right,
guys.
Petey. Take care, my friend, and all of you. We'll see
care.
you next week on the 2 Count. Bye-bye.
Later.